Welcome to another Crescent City vlog and happy HOFAS day. Yes, it's January 30th, House of Flame and Shadow Day. I have been refreshing my Kindle like crazy, waiting for my pre-ordered copy to appear. This vlog is going to spoil books 1 and 2, so if you haven't read those yet, I'm not sure if you're going to want to watch this. I do, however, have a spoiler-free vlog where I read both House of Earth and Blood and House of Sky and Breath in the vlog. That might be a good place for you guys to start if you haven't read anything. It's here. Sorry. House of Flame and Shadows is available on Kindle now, as of right now. Okay, what do we have? It's 848 pages, which makes it the longest book in the series so far. Knowing the series, it's going to be jam-packed full of insanity, so I gladly welcome the higher page count. That just means there's more room for more excitement to ensue. Let's back up a little bit. So where we left off with House of Sky and Breath, Bryce opened up a portal to what she thought was hell. This is your last chance. If you have not read House of Earth and Blood or House of Sky and Breath yet, click out of this video. Major spoilers are about to happen. So Bryce goes through this portal to hell and then it closes, and she doesn't have everything she needs to reopen it again so she can get back home. Where she finds herself is in a foreign land that seems like it's hundreds and hundreds of years before her time. And she's thinking, I've been told hell is eerie and demonic. Who knew? So she's asking around for the specific demon prince, but nobody knows who she's talking about, and nobody even knows what hell is. I haven't read anything else from Sarah J. Maas, but from what I've heard and what I understand, the last sentence of House of Sky and Breath drops a huge bomb that leads us to believe this is actually a crossover series. In this new world that she's in, somebody approaches her who looks almost identical to my man Rune and introduces himself as Rysand, who is apparently from the ACOTAR series. Where are you going to take us, and what do you plan on putting us through this time, Sarah? Let's see. Dogs. Bryce never thought that she was going to see another world other than where she lives on Midgard. But now that she has, she wants nothing more than to get back to the life she knows. Her family, friends, the love of her life, they're still on Midgard, and she has no way to contact them to let them know where she is. They all think she went to hell. But she's actually just stuck on this foreign planet. She's stranded in this strange new world. So this adventure is most likely going to take us along with her as she tries to find her way back home. Ooh, this is going to be good. So let's dive into it, shall we? I all of a sudden have a massive migraine. I'm trying to enjoy this story. I tried to put on these blue light glasses to see if they helped at all, but no. I really just need a break from staring at screens. This is a good example of when physical books are superior to Kindles. You know what else I think I need? A chicken strip basket from DQ. I want to go fill my belly, take some Tylenol, and then maybe I can get cozy and actually enjoy what I'm reading. I am feeling much better now. I put a pretty good dent in. I'm 20 chapters in. I'm on page 204, which puts me right at the 25% mark. In my last Crescent City vlog, I concluded that Bryce is kinda sucky. Please don't click out of this video. I went through a lot of back and forths in a roller coaster of up and downs to get there. And I don't hate her. I just think she's not that great of a person. For her storyline, it's only been an hour since the last scene of House of Sky and Breath. For everybody else in Midgard, we pick up 2 days after the last scene. So pretty much either way, we're right where we left off. We have 3 different storylines we're following now. Rune, Hunt, and Baxian are still at the Crystal Palace. The second storyline is Bryce. She's with the ACOTAR people still. She's been hanging out, I guess we can call it, with Nesta and Azriel. Not even a quarter of the way through the book, and what do you know? Bryce is being a manipulative little shit. She's the same master of spinning bullshit that we all know her to be. At least this time around, it seems like she's getting a guilty conscience about setting up these psychological traps that she keeps tricking people into. You would think in the position that she's in, she would want to earn the trust of these people in this foreign world that she's in. But nope, she just proves herself to be shady and untrustworthy. She did something really fucked up already and instantly turned around to try to undo it. And she was like, maybe I went a little too far this time. I don't know if the purpose of her being like this is for the readers to feel like she's so clever and brilliant for being like this, or now that she's feeling guilty about things and trying to undo them. I don't know if we're supposed to be like, oh, she has such a good conscience. That big old heart of Bryce's. I'm just not feeling it. All I can think of is she's so manipulative that it's gross. I think it irked me more when she was doing it to her own friends and family, but this one was still pretty relentless. And then she has the audacity to be upset when she gets a taste of her own medicine. I really just don't like this girl. I like her storyline so far, though. We're getting some origin stories on all the lore that we've read about for the past 1,600 pages. Sarah J. Maas is switching it up, though. We're getting our information in more of an adventure-y way rather than an investigative type of way like we have been seeing in Crescent City. And the third storyline, Therian, Ethan, and everybody else, they're at the meat market. And the dragon and the fire sprites and the mystic, they're all with them, too. As of right now, this is my favorite storyline to be in. I really like reading about Sigrid Fender. Another fun thing, we also get more of Declan's boyfriend in this. Mark, a leopard shifter. We've met him before in the other books, but really the friend group just talked about him. He was mentioned here and there by some of our characters, so really we just knew of him. Now we're actually seeing him on the page more and we're getting to know him. He's actually talking and has a voice in this, and he's playing a pretty big side role to the story. In the last book, Ethan freed a mystic, and we're getting to know her more, and I'm really liking her. They call her Sigrid now. I don't know if they introduced her name in the last book, but in this book they're calling her Sigrid. You know, as a mystic, what was his name? The astronomer or whatever, whoever owned her as a mystic, she's been unconscious in a water tank her whole life before this. So she knows nothing about how to live. She doesn't know what a bed is or the concept of hygiene or how to take care of her body. She doesn't know how to take a shower or even what shampoo is. Clothes are a foreign concept to her. Ethan, Declan, and Flynn scrounged up some of their clothes to spare for her. So she has clothes to wear now, but she's really tiny. She's never had to stand or walk or anything like that. So she has no muscle mass and she's just this itty bitty thing. And these are all guys with athletic, muscly body builds. Sarah J. Maas wrote them, of course they are. So this whole story so far, she's been walking around this whole time with these baggy man sweats that are 3 times too big for her. She doesn't know any better, so I guess she's fine. Ethan is doing a great job taking her under his wing and helping her get acclimated and just teaching her what everything is. He even washed her hair for her. I can see he has a sense of purpose now, and it's so heartwarming. I love this storyline for him because in Sky and Breath it was so heartbreaking and it was really bumming me out. And Sigrid, she's so innocent, but she has alpha wolf blood. So instinctually, like naturally, she's assertive and brave, but she's also really behind and childlike, and it just makes for a really interesting character. I'm really looking forward to getting to know her more. I also can't wait for Rune's storyline to pick up. 25% of the way through, and nothing's happened with him much yet. Like I said, they're still at the Asteri's Palace at this point. Exactly where they were over 200 pages ago back in Sky and Breath. But I feel like I know Sarah a little bit by now. And when the storyline picks up, it runs. We can go 0 to 100 in a span of a page. I think my worst fear would be that Rune takes a back seat in this one and we don't get to see much of him. No, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to jinx myself. What? Therian is still a douche. He's still a douche. He's the same douche he was in the last book. If you started singing Taylor Swift when you got to this part, take a shot.
Did you hear my covert narcissism? My disguise is altruism.
No. Oh, why does she do this to us? What the fuck, Sarah? Wait a minute. Let's just do this update now. This is insane. We'll turn this off. Okay. Last time I checked in with you guys. Hold on. Let me go turn my light on. This is not cozy B-roll. This is an actual update now. Plot twist. Oops, I knocked you down. I wasn't prepared for this. Right after the last time I checked in with you, something happened. And I hated it. It had me tearing up. I had to take a second to pull myself together. Sarah J. Maas got me with emotions this instantly in House of Earth and Blood. I can't remember if it was instantaneously like this in House of Sky and Breath. I'm shaking right now. My words are just, they're not coming out crisp and clear. She does these things that just come out of left field. You don't see them coming. All of this buildup and development that you read for pages and pages and pages you think is going somewhere. But then plot twist, it's like it knocks the wind out of you. Something happens so abruptly. What the fuck, Sarah? I'm at the 50% mark now, so it's a good time to update anyway. Where to start? The Autumn King is a dick. We already knew that, but what an absolute fucking dick. He's even more despicable in this book. Even I'm shooting him dirty looks through the pages. I hope he feels my eyes on him and knows how much he's just despised. Throughout this whole series, I don't know who wins the world's worst parent award. We know Danica's mom, Sabine, was the world's worst mom. The Autumn King is the shittiest of shitty parents to his 2 kids. Both those things old news. But now we have another family, and we get to know new parents. If we can call Sabine the world's worst mom, then this new parent that I can't tell you about because it's going to be a huge spoiler, they're the universe's worst parent. Okay, I can't talk about this. I don't even know how to talk about it, so we'll skip over it because I don't mind spoiling the first 2 books for you because I feel like if you're watching this, you probably already read those, but I don't want to spoil this one for you. Some of the storylines branched out a bit and maybe some merged with others. We're at 5 different storylines now. It's not confusing or hard to follow. It's actually spectacularly fun. We're just weaving in and out of all the different perspectives so seamlessly. And I think that's what's pacing this so well. This is done very well. I'm able to fly through this because so much is going on and we're just bouncing around to so many different storylines and it's keeping me so engaged. I'm having a really good time with all of it and it's a lot already. I cannot tell where any of this is going. I don't know what to anticipate. It's intense in all the best ways. On another note, I wasn't wrong about the 0 to 100 within a page. Oh, and we get lots more rune. At maybe like 35 to 40% of the way through, we get our infamous Sarah J. Maas brand of mayhem. Yeah, we get it early in this one. Usually the insanity is left for like the last 100-ish pages. I mean, the entire stories are always insane. But I'm talking about the fast-paced bam, 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 bam intensity that's unrelenting, where the twists and turns just accelerate and they don't calm down and your heart's racing chapter after chapter. We're getting that super early with some super high stakes, not even halfway through. If this book doesn't give you an adrenaline rush, I'll be surprised. It has me excited for the ending and also a bit concerned that she's outdoing herself a bit too early in the story. I mean, we still have 400 pages to go. Where can we possibly go from here? If things are this crazy now, how do we accelerate from here? I am thrilled and anxious to see what more we're about to go through. This book is the epitome of the word unputdownable. It is 3:31 in the morning. I'm not ready to put this down, but holy shit. My eyes keep shutting on their own accord. I think it's time to head upstairs and go to bed. Or maybe I'll just pass out in my office tonight. Good night, Rune. I'll see you in the morning. Good morning. It's a little after 7 a.m. The kids just left for school. Chris is already at work. I just got finished getting ready for the day. I'm all caught up at work and I don't really have much to do there anyway today, so I think I'm going to take the day off. I don't want to do anything today but read, so I'm going to go ahead and throw dinner in the crock pot this morning and get that out of the way so my family doesn't starve tonight. Okay, I no longer have any other responsibilities for the day, so I get to head back into Crescent City and spend as long there as I want. Do you want to go with me? Do you want to go to Crescent City with me? I'm 75% of the way through. Therion is reckless. The guy never learns. You think the 10-year engagement to the River Queen's daughter or defecting himself to the Viper Queen were bad decisions. Just wait until you get to this book. He just digs himself into these life-altering situations that he cannot climb out of. And he keeps making all these dumb decisions that are huge without putting any thought into any of them. He just takes action with no brain. And it messes with more than just himself. But he only ever thinks about himself until it's too late. When others start bearing the consequences of his actions, that's when he starts to care. Then he has regrets. He's the Jax Taylor of Crescent City. Dude's such a reckless, impulsive liability. Unrelated, chapter 59. I can't say more. I can't say anything about it, but when you read this book, chapter 59. We're spending a lot of time at sea and going to misty islands and tropical archipelagos. We're exploring cave systems with skeletons and all these ancient hidden tombs and underground rivers. Out of all 3 of the stories I've read in Crescent City so far, this one's the most adventurous. It's definitely the most fun. It has a different tone to it than the other 2 had. I don't know how you would explain the feel of what separates this from anything else in the series this far, but it's more of an exploration and a journey that we're going on. It's not piratey, but it has all the adventure-y pirate themes that we all love to it. Well, I love anyway. I love a good pirate adventure. Where I just left off, some shit's gone down at the Northern Rift, and I can tell it's time for readers to start gearing up. I can feel it. We're preparing for all the craziness. We're only on page 624 of 848. I don't know. I guess every edition's different. But I feel like if this was a roller coaster, we're on that slow, like, upward hill. How do you make a roller coaster noise? We're gearing up to be dropped down the craziest hills and spirals and loops at the most insane speeds. And wind is just going to be rushing through our hair, and our cheeks are going to be flapping in the wind for the remaining pages of this story. If the last 2 books taught me anything about her writing, then I know better. I can feel it coming and I'm buckling up. I'm at the 99% mark and I'm not ready. There's only 20-ish pages left and I don't want to say goodbye yet. How much longer will we have to wait? Like 2 years probably before we get another book in this world. Years probably before I get to see everybody again. Just 20 pages. That's all I have left with you guys for now. I'm assuming the next book's going to be The House of Many Waters, so are we going to get it from Therian's? I've heard rumors that this is the last Bryson Hunt book. Maybe the next one will be a Therian book, but I hope not. As long as there's ruin in it, I'm okay, I'm good. Closing the back cover on a book is the worst part of reading. When you form all these connections to this world and to these people, and then it's just over. A little bit of mourning and closure needs to happen before we can move on with our lives outside of this world after you just close the pages on them. Thoughts while reading this last bit. Sabine's a dick. I will always feel supportive and protective over Ethan. So Sabine portraying him the way that she did makes me want to gut her. Bryce's scheming and manipulation, without including others who are involved, just topped anything that she's ever done. It doesn't get worse than this. This is fucking awful. I don't care what her intentions are. You do not strip another human being the right to decide their own path for themselves and betray their trust and then trick them into doing things against their will. How do any of these people ever trust this girl? If I knew somebody who behaved like this in real life, I would never trust them. I would never believe a word that they said. I make it a point not to associate with people like this. But in the end, everything was okay and everybody laughed it off per usual. On another note, page 804 had me sobbing. This series has teared me up quite a bit throughout, but this got me hard. I picked up the camera to talk about it, but my face was all red and blotchy. It just wasn't attractive. But this is the most beautiful chapter I think I've ever read. Out of all the books, chapter 99 and book 3 is my number 1. I'm not going to get into it though, not even vaguely and not even without context, because I feel like this is something that you really need to read for yourself. Something at the ending was said to Bryce. Someone was like, "You did better than expected." And she said, "That's what I want on my new business card. Bryce Quinlan. Better than expected." It was just a witty little one-liner and she's full of those. But honestly, this one really encapsulates everything that she's experienced throughout this entire series. And she's used those misconceptions to her advantage brilliantly. But it has obviously still been frustrating for her. She's been perceived as this young, dumb party girl, but the girl's really smart and always has a plan in the works. Even if she doesn't go about things that are ideally to me and could use her sharpness to be less manipulative, she has always, in every single situation I've ever seen her in, had a plan that's 10 steps ahead of the game. Her mind's gears were always spinning and working, even while everybody was dismissing her and writing her off as an airhead, who just liked to get fucked up and have a good time with no other purpose in life. I can relate her to Paris Hilton. She is perceived to be what Paris Hilton was perceived to be in the early 2000s. Nothing going on upstairs, but the girl knows how to party. Yet Bryce always proved to be better than expected. I really liked that line. After I completed the House of Earth and Blood book, I said that I didn't feel any closure, and then after the House of Sky and Breath book, the cliffhanger was unreal. It was the cliffhanger of all cliffhangers. Now that I'm done with Flame and Shadow, I feel closure. There's no cliffhanger, and I just feel at peace. There are a lot of pieces that still aren't tied up, and I have a ton of questions, but overall, I'm content. I love where we left off. I'm just gonna miss everyone. I didn't consider this for the first 2 books, but I am so impressed with the pacing of Crescent City. Typically when a book is this long, there are parts that just drag and you really have to like push yourself through it. But I don't think I've encountered that in any of the Crescent City books. This series is so fast paced and just fun. I've been thoroughly entertained for every second of the past 2,500 pages. It's amazing saying that number, and yet the series doesn't even feel like it's that long. I'm just looking at this like, how in the hell did I just read 850 pages in 2 days? Time flies when you're having fun. And of course, here's to you for making it to the end. Thank you so much. But also, to a normal life, Rune.